Hello, everyone. You are listening to The Redshift, your connection to your piece of the sky. I'm your host, Emma Miller. Hello. How is everyone doing today? Good morning, Rocketech. Ol Skipped, to Patient 1, April, hi. Hello, CHRNV. Hello, Illa. How is everyone doing today? Welcome in, welcome. Are you all having a good day today? Hopefully you are. Hi, Maximo. To Patient 1, I was going to say, that's a new name. Welcome in, our first-time shifter. Happy to have you here. Hi, Tesla. Hi, Galdwin. How are you all doing this week? What a week it has been for us here on Earth. I know for me, it's been a fairly standard week. I know it hasn't really been a fairly standard week for our astronauts on Mars. So I'm excited to kind of get into our astronaut story of the week. Very excited for that. Welcome, friends. If I didn't call you up, hello and welcome in, shifters. So I don't really have much in the way of ISA announcements this week, which does mean that we can kind of hop right into finding out how everyone is doing at the Mars base. If you are unfamiliar and you weren't here last week, maybe, I know we just said we have some new shifters. To give you kind of a very quick summary of just some of the things that have happened over the course of the last 2 weeks. We did have an astronaut who got into dire straits, I would say. Our astronaut, Ida, she actually had her rover go into a sinkhole on Mars, and thankfully she was able to recover. And it was pretty scary, pretty hairy there for a little while. So fortunately, we got her out. And that was wonderful. In fact, we got a lot of help from our shifters. Chris, that's a very fitting GIF. I like that a lot. We got some help from the shifters, which was really, really awesome. So I'm really glad that all happened. And then last week, we were hearing from Tatiana, who's one of the doctors at the Mars base. And she gave us the news that C. diff, or C. difficile, which is a bacteria that exists in people's intestines and guts, seem to have flared up at the Mars base and gotten at least Ida sick. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't sound like it was just Ida. So we are Janutes. That's a very, very fitting GIF. I think it's time for us to hop in, though, and see what exactly has happened on Mars over the course of the last week. It was a pretty rough go. So yeah, we'll hop right in. This week's letter is from Hanzu Mori. Kind of a letter. I've already had a chance to read it. And they'll kind of explain, what exactly they've sent. I'm going to be sharing basically journal entries with you. So I'm just going to preface my reading the letter in saying that I'm going to put bullets, or I'll state that there are bullets, because the way that it's written is in bullets, because it's his letter. I really didn't know much about Hanzu before this letter got sent to me. He seems pretty quiet, so I'm really excited to be able to share his note to you all, and hop right in. I hope you guys are excited. It's been quite a week on the Mars base. So if you're new and you are unfamiliar with this format, I'm going to read this note from the astronaut. These are his words, so it's a little bit out of my voice, perhaps, but I'm going to go ahead and read his words to you all. And then we will have a fun little game that I actually made for you all a little bit later. And you'll understand why I made the game as you listen to the letter. So let's hop right into it. Let's get to our note. It was not supposed to be my week to write, but everybody else is sick. So Mitty asked me to fill in. Another chore to add to the list. My name is Hanzu Mori. Right now, I am the only astronaut on the base that isn't sick. So I don't have much time. I think all you need to know is that I am a botanist. I work with Patricia, though we focus on different tasks. I have always been good at working on my own. I keep to myself. I focus on my tasks. Sometimes after work, I like to play a game before I go to sleep. Don't get me wrong, I like my crewmates, but I find being around people, even people I like, Gets exhausting after a while. Right now, the base is very small. If I wasn't careful, the constant presence of people would leave me exhausted all the time. That's part of the reason I spend so much time in the greenhouses. Plus, there's a lot of work to do. I think of it like a video game sometimes. This task, then the next, and so on. I'm working my way through the story, working towards the end game. This week has many, many side quests. Side quests make me tired. When the others began to get sick, Tatiana asked for fecal samples for the crew. She and Bertram knew, or suspected, what was making the crew sick. It started with Ida, they knew. They discovered the C. difficile shared around the crew. Not in me, though. I had more bile acid, they said. Well, good to know, I guess. They had me take extra supplements to keep me from getting sick. The rest, well, they have been clutching buckets. When they aren't clutching buckets, they are giving me their lists. Last week, I was a botanist. This week, I am the sole proprietor and operator of a base on Mars. Not a side quest I would have asked for, but it's what the base needs, what my crewmates need me to do. I keep a journal. Let me share this week with you. Journal entry 476. Bullet. Everyone is on the radio channels. We always have the channels on, but they don't get much use. Today, everyone has remembered how to use them. I hear their voices nonstop, coming up with things for me to do and arguing with one another over which thing I should do next. Bullet. Clean everything. No, not everything, just most things. Okay, everything. What to clean first? Start with the air filters. This sickness stays in the air. On Earth, doctors say it wouldn't be this airborne. There's not enough gravity here to keep it from being a problem. So, replace the air filters. Bullet. Check the HVAC system readings. More than just air filters. Have to check the whole system, says John. Okay, I'm a botanist. I understand science, but these readings? Dictated the readings to Aurora. Says they are reading okay. Good. Bullet. John yells over the radio to check the oxygen levels. Maxim yells over the radio to check microbe culture in the lab. Corey tells me to check on Rover 1. Bullet. Bertram asks if I have cleaned the latrines. I walk to the latrines. I hear protestations over the radio. I walk past the greenhouse. I haven't watered my plants today. It can wait. Bullet. Bertram says this is the highest priority. This is ground zero for the infections. I need to scrub for hours. Expect the latrines are never empty. As soon as I start to get them clean, another astronaut rushes in. Bertram says I have to tell them to wait. I try. Astronauts tell me in vivid words what they will do if I don't get out of the latrine. Tatiana says their ISA spacesuits will have to do. There is a lot of shouting on the radio. Bullet. 3 hours later, the latrines have never been cleaner. My mother would be proud. Bullet. More scrubbing. More scolding from the others. Day 1, I think, needs to be getting the base habitable, not a petri dish. All of inhabited Mars smells like bleach. Bullet. I go to sleep very late. The base is pristine. My arms are sore. My knees hurt. Maybe it will be easier tomorrow? Journal entry 477. Bullet. It is very early. My suit helmet lies next to my bunk. From my bed, I can hear a voice yelling through the helmet radio. It is Corey. Have I checked on Rover 1? The rover was being repaired when everything went wrong. Had to make sure the battery powering was working. Should have checked it yesterday. Something could be wrong. If something is wrong, it could be a disaster for the vehicle and leave us down a rover indefinitely, he says. I wake up. Ida speaks on the radio too. Her voice is still weak. She says, Hanzu, I actually died trying to save that rover and you couldn't check the battery? Bullet. I walk to the garage, where most of the equipment is. I stare at the vehicle. It stares back at me. A crack in the side window winks at me. Not really, but the crack does look like a wink, almost. I learned to drive a rover, not to repair it. I'm no mechanic, no engineer. If water and fertilizer won't help, I'm not sure what to do. Bullet. Corey tells me to look for the battery, or what to look for in the battery, then tells me what else I should check while I'm already in the garage. The buggy, the drone, check levels, check wheels, check pressure. Bullet. Now more voices on the radio. Emmy and Maxim both tell me to check the microbes in lab. Tatiana tells me I must go take another supplement. John tells me to check the fuel plant. Bullet. I will be in 3 places at once, I guess. Journal entry 478. Bullet. Everything I check adds another thing to the list. By the time a thing is done, when I call the astronaut whose job I am doing, they tell me I have done it wrong, and they have also remembered 3 other things I should do. Bullet. I run to the lab to check an experiment for the 3rd time today. This is an experiment on core samples of Mars soil. It looks the same this time as it has the last 2. I don't know what Maxim thinks will change in a soil sample so quickly, but he keeps asking me to check. Bullet. I am back at the fuel plant checking the water levels, checking the flow of the water. John tells me that if I mess up, it will cost our ability to send rockets from Mars into orbit. Bullet. Have you checked the rockets yet? I don't always like John, but I don't want to make John angry. I go to check the rockets. They look the same as they did yesterday, I imagine. At least John stops calming me for a while. Bullet. I am hungry. The dining hall is a sick bay now. I have some nutrition bars. I managed to eat one before Bertram calls me to check on the C. diff samples in the medical bay. He wants to see how the cultures are responding to treatment. I do as he says. Journal entry 479. Yesterday, I didn't have time to write in the journal. I was running from the moment my eyes opened until they closed. Bullet. Checked the fission reactor and the mega power reactor. Both were running smoothly. Amazing that John can explain all the ways we could die from both breaking while also losing control of his bowel movements. Bullet. I also checked the nuclear reactors. Alex asked if we were really asking the botanist to run the nuke. John said the only way a botanist knows how to fix a problem is to shovel manure on it. Then Alex said, kind of delicately, that maybe John thought the 2 of them were talking on a private channel, but they weren't. And John said, oops. And Patricia, who is the other botanist, said she was going to find John and explain some things to him as soon as she got out of the latrine. And Tatiana told John not to worry, because she had been waiting outside Patricia's latrine for 20 minutes, and by the sound of it, she wasn't coming out anytime soon. Bullet. More radio calls. Do I really need to check the solar panels? The 3D printing robot? Will they break if I don't? I guess the answer is yes. Bullet. Mission Control is on the base radio with an urgent message. They need to be briefed. Mitty is in the 2nd latrine. She tells me to brief Mission Control. She tells me she knows I can do it. Journal entry 480. I woke up in the middle of the night and realized I hadn't been in the greenhouse for days. I put on my suit and walked out as quietly as I could, because if I woke up anyone else, I knew they would give me another job. Bullet. In the greenhouse, I find my plant's leaves are turning brown. They haven't been getting enough water. I'm letting them down. Bullet. Patricia never called me to remind me to check on the plants. She assumed I would know. It is my job. I didn't check. Bullet. My plants are also low on soil. I haven't thought about it. Usually an automated system processes our waste and turns it into compost, but we have to take the latrine waste and process it to remove the C. diff. It's crazy, but from the plant's point of view, the one thing there isn't enough of is manure. Bullet. Mitty found me in the greenhouse. She said she was weak, but starting to feel a little better. She reached out to my helmet and turned my radio to a private channel. Mitty asks me how I am feeling. My eyes are sore, I say, but I'm feeling okay. Maybe my chest is a little tight. It feels hard to breathe, and my hands are shaking. Bullet. I tell her about the plants, apologize for not being faster at the other tasks. She tells me to stop. Bullet. Stop? I ask her. Yes, she says to stop. She says I need to take a moment. The Mars base will not destroy itself so quickly. It is built to last. Every person thinks that what they do is the most important thing, but But that is not always true. Sometimes we are not the priority. Bullet. She says you are on the base because you are Hanzu, not because you are another John Alves or Ida or Corey or Bertram. You are Hanzu and your work is also important. Bullet. Mitty knows everyone is starting to feel better. Soon there will be more help. Now it is time to take a break, to take care of myself. Bullet. Mitty smiles at me. There is a reason they picked her to command the first mission to Mars. Bullet. Then she asks if I could help her back to the cab and maybe bring her a new clean bucket? So I do. Bullet. Then I walk out of the base. There are so many voices on the radio asking me what I'm doing, if I finish the last chore, when I will get to the next one, where the hell I think I'm going. When I turn the radio off, the voices disappear all at once, leaving me alone on Mars. It is wonderful. Bullet. I have an idea. That is all I wrote in my journal this week. At home, sometimes when the games become too hard, I went outside. I'd walk on the grass, feel it poking between my toes. Nearby, there was a Zen garden. It was peaceful. That's what I made, alone on the surface of Mars. A garden of rocks and red dust and silence. Will my garden last? I don't know. There's a lot of dust on the planet. I know. I cleaned it out of every filtration system possible this last week. Perhaps in a day or a week, the dust will cover up my garden. I don't mind. It doesn't have to last forever. It just has to last for right now. I brought a rake with me. It isn't a real rake, of course, just a tool we use for smoothing and leveling regolith around drilling platforms. But it was something. I got to work tracing lines around rocks, shaping the space. I began to feel like myself again, more so with every line in the Martian sand. By the time I stepped back to look at what I'd done, I was Hanzu once more, not a drone to be flown by every other astronaut at the base. Now everyone is beginning to return to their jobs again. I think they are as happy as I am to be back to focusing on what their role was, on the thing that made the ISA want to send them here. The first thing Mitty did when she was cleared was come to find me. My radio had been off since she'd spoken to me. Oops. If no one else says it, she said to me, thank you. I have quite a lot to do still. The base isn't running as smoothly as it should be yet. I feel like I've leveled up so many times over the past few days as I've learned everyone's roles and gone through their side quests. But now I can go back to my main mission, thankfully. No more threat of a game over for me. One last thing before I go back to work. I see my garden from a window that looks out from the greenhouse. I saw John Alves walking through it today. I don't think he saw me watch him. It made me smile. And that's Hanzu's note. I don't know about you all, but I think Hanzu deserves a pizza party at the very least. What an incredible person to be able to step up into the role of all of the other astronauts and still be able to find something nice at the end of... I'm a big Hanzu fan. He's really flown under the radar for me, but I am thoroughly impressed with the way that he handled himself this past week. And I don't know about you all, but I would love to walk through a Zen garden on Mars. Wouldn't that be awesome? I think that would be so cool. I can't even begin to express how impressed I am with Hanzu. He really did. Absolutely bright eyes. He held it down. Buy this man a drink. Yes, I think that's the way to go. We got to get him in a little drink, right? I'm very, very impressed. It also does show you just, how amazing everyone on Mars is. There's a reason why these astronauts are out on Mars and why they are representing the ISA on our new planet. So very, very exciting stuff. So thank you guys for listening to Hanzu's story. I'm sure he will feel comforted in knowing that his words reached you guys and that you all enjoyed it. And of course, now you all know just how much work he's put into the last week. With that being said, we are going to cut to our weather and our sponsorship message, and then we're going to come back and play our little game, which, as I mentioned, I made, because if you can imagine, Hanzu didn't really have enough time to work on coming up with some interactive component for our radio show this week. So it's an Emma Miller exclusive. Very exciting stuff. And it'll be a great way for you to get some Discord XP. And I think you guys are primed and ready to go based on how you guys have been in the chat today. So we're going to cut to our sponsorship message and to our weather. And let's head on over. You can make the argument that after Gabriel Rebane, no single person has meant more to the ISA than Delinda Tutud, the Filipina garment worker whose next generation spacesuit designs won our first big aerospace contract. Do you want a chance to put your mark on the evolution of interplanetary fashion? Do you want a chance to work with a legendary genius? Do you want to empower mankind's journey to the stars without having to freeze your butt off? If this sounds like you, ISA Manila is tailor-made for you. Nicknamed the Fitting Room, ISA Manila is where you can make sure our astronauts can glide, strut, heave, and leap into the future, and look great doing it. ISA Manila, because space is cool. And now for our weather. Temperatures at the Mars base have a daily variation from lows at negative 105 degrees Celsius to negative 5 degrees Celsius. The wind is averaging around 5 meters per second, with gusts continuing up to 30 meters per second locally, with average direction of 180 degrees east of north. Atmospheric opacity is 1.2. All right. Are you all ready for our game for the week? I hope you are all incredibly excited. This is going to be a very good time. I hope you're prepared. I think you all are. So let me explain to you a little bit about how the game is going to work this week. I kind of took an inspiration from the experience of Hanzu, which was, of course, he had this list. He had to go through the list. There was a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving pieces. I wanted to make something that would kind of replicate that sort of a feeling for our players today. So, the way that this will work, this game is a total of 5 rounds. In each round, I am going to share a list of things. They're typically just nouns, so one word on the list. I will only state the list once. So I'll make sure I'm very clear in how I say it, but I will only say it once. So you have to listen very carefully and remember the things that I say. One time. You got it rerouted. When I tell you the list, you're then going to post a GIF that corresponds with the words that I've just said. So if I say the word water bottle, for instance, you're going to post a GIF of a water bottle. If after a minute, beautiful, you guys are great. And actually, this is a great example. So if you post a GIF of a water bottle, you're going to want to get all of the items in the list. If a duplicated GIF gets posted by 2 different people, so the way that April and Shiny just posted the same GIF, that GIF won't count. So you have to make sure that you cover all of the items without duplicating the GIF. If you do duplicate it, it won't count. So make sure you're paying a lot of attention to what other people are posting. In the case that someone does post a duplicate, you just have to send another GIF that will cover that title. Each round, there's going to be more items added to the list. So it's going to get a little bit more difficult as you go along. In order to win the game, You all collectively need to get the majority of the 5 rounds completed. So you need to win at least 3 of the 5 rounds to win. And for added bonus, the Emma Miller Award is going to be given to whoever sends the GIF that I think is the funniest. So each round, someone will get an extra bit of XP for Discord by just posting a GIF that I think is the silliest. Does that make sense? You all ready to do it? I'm also going to stress you out with some really fun time music, so that'll be great. All right, we are ready to begin. I will not tell you if you've completed it, by the way, or completed the list until at the end of the minute. So you're going to have to wait till you get all the way to the end to find out if you've succeeded. And we'll go through it together. All right, let's begin. Round 1, your first words are robot, nuclear, tree, virus, and exercise. Your minute begins now. If you've never sent a GIF before, if you just click down in the bottom, it'll say GIF, and then you just type whatever you're looking for in that little list. Is the music beginning to stress you out? Are you feeling the pressure? You all are very good with these GIFs. All right, that's your minute. Anything that gets sent past Alex's little chicken GIF will not be counted. All right, perfect. Let's take a look and see how we did in round 1. Oh, this is going to get really crazy as we keep going. All right, so we immediately kick it off with a robot GIF. So that was well done. Good job, Janutes. All right, let's see. So nuclear, tree, and fire. We do have another robot GIF with Bender for Desal. That was good. April also posted one. CHRNV posted one. Does look like we did have a duplicated robot GIF, but that's okay. We had plenty of other ones. We have Homer juggling the nuclear reactor cores. I think that's what those are. So that one works. Nuclear power, looking good. It looks like the patient one got tree. Great job, great job. You guys are doing fantastic. We're doing good here. We're doing good. I'm waiting to see if there one is. Medallion got a good virus GIF. Love that. Big fan. All right. So all we need now is an exercise GIF, and then we're clear. Oh, broccoli. I really like that GIF. All right. It does look like we have. There's our exercise GIF. CHRNV got our exercise GIF. All right. Perfect. So that looks like we got all of them and we didn't have any duplicates that would cost us the round. There are plenty of duplicates, but that one looks like it's all good. And I have to give it to, hold on, let me scroll back up. I have to give it to Broccoli because that Plague Doctor and Virus GIF, it's just, I really like that. So our Emma Miller Award for this round goes to Broccoli. Congratulations. All right, let's go to our next, of course. All right, let's go to our next round. Our next round is going to be a little bit longer. Gunner, have a great rest of your day. All right, next round, a little bit, not longer list. There's going to be 6 items, not 5. All right, our items are granite, sand, marble, smoke, earthquake, and drone. Let's see. right, all right. All right, I think you're about halfway through. All right, that's it. Anything beyond the lost my marbles is not going to count. So let's take a look-see from the beginning of the round. All right, we have our six items. Let's see. So we have, the words were granite, sand, marble, smoke, earthquake, and drone. So I see Janut's kicked us off with a good little drone image. I know we need granite countertops. Yep, correct. All right, that one's good. Well done, Maximo. Tronity with the I don't like sand. Honestly, I completely get it. Tesla also got a good sand one. All right, we do have earthquake covered here. I do like that more sand gift that Broccoli sent, but I think there's a couple of them. So that's looking really good. So now we have marble and smoke. So I do see smoke and I do see marble. All right, so you guys have covered that. I'm just verifying to make sure that there aren't any duplicates. It does look like we had a couple of duplicates, but nothing that should prevent us from continuing. I do like the badly done Emma gift though, Martian. That's a very good one. Referencing one of my favorite stories. It's an oldie, but it is a goodie. So well done. You guys did a great job with that. I think I've got to give the Emma Miller Award for best GIF usage. I'm going to give it to Medallion because honestly, that drone hammock looks like everything I've ever wanted in my entire life and more. So well done. All right, Medallion, you got your Emma Miller Award. Congratulations. All right, we are heading to our next round. This is round 3. Congrats. All right, round 3. Adding another item to the list. Let's do this. Round 3. Newspaper, television, map, salad, money, data, carbon. You all are so good at finding these gifts. All right, you're about halfway through. Have you gotten all of the ones? Did you hear my whole list? Do you know that you have everything? Is the pressure mounting? All right, that's time. So anything after our jumping into money sent by Rerouted will not count. All right. So let's head back to the beginning of this round and let's see how we did. I'm excited to see. You guys had some good ones in there. I liked them. All right. So we're kicking it right off with Shiny Force with the newspaper GIF. So well done. That's a really good one. You guys are pretty good. I have confidence that you all would be able to work through a week on the Mars base. We also called out data, so that's really good. You guys are doing a really good job also of not duplicating GIFs, so well done. All right. We'll skip. I like that zoom in for the map. That's fantastic. Very, very good job. Like that. I like that. Also, welcome. I don't know that I've said hi to you yet. So hi, welcome in. CHRNV, I like your newspaper as well. Kanchanyi, like that. Also, we do have a duplicated newspaper GIF. Very funny, but it was duplicated. Salad, we've got covered with that wonderful cat. A perfect television GIF medallion of the television falling. It's great. Shiny Force, I like your representation of carbon there. I think that's carbon. I'm pretty sure that's carbon. If not, there is carbon as they're displayed later, but I'm pretty sure that that's carbon. And then we have money. We have plenty of money. Now, the only thing is I do see that there was a duplicated salad GIF with the cat. But luckily, I know you got a salad GIF a little bit later, a couple of them. So that's looking good. We also have data a little bit later. So that's looking fantastic. Let's see. Maximo and Illa, you guys both use the same GIF with Kermit the Frog in the map. That's fantastic. All right, let's see. Which is going to win our Emma Miller Award for this week? Let's see. There's so many good ones. Or for this round, not this week, I guess. Let's see. This one's a hard one. There are some really funny ones this round. I think we've got to give it to Maximo with the salad GIF. I like that one a lot. I think Maximo did a good job with that really good salad, what looks like stock footage salad GIF. Very silly. All right. Hi, Scaro. How's it going? Victory indeed. Congratulations. All right. We are moving on to round 4. Are you excited? Are you ready to go? You guys are all warmed up. I'm really proud of y'all. All right. We're adding another number to the another word to the list. Let's begin. Round 4. Hospital, library, tooth, orange, birthday, physics, homework, Mars. If you're just joining us, send a GIF that corresponds to the words I've just stated. All right, we're about halfway through. The clock is ticking. Have you gotten all of the words? We're almost out of time. And that's time. So Petro's GIF is the last one we're going to be looking at. Let's scroll back up and see how you all did. Okay, so The Martian kicks us off right away with a library GIF. All right, so that's perfect. Then we have an orange followed quickly up for snip. So well done there. Let's see. Tesla, I also really like your GIF. I think that's fantastic. Alex got a very cool tooth GIF. That's horrifying. CHRNV has covered the hospital for us. And then we get into our Mars GIFs. Now, I will say Broccoli and CHRNV did get the same hospital GIF and Contagny, but Maximo covered it right back up with the another hospital GIF. We do have Mars covered as well, so we have plenty of Mars GIFs. Now, there were some duplicates, but I think that overall you're looking pretty good here with your Mars. Shiny Force, I'm pretty sure that GIF is burning homework, which I respect. I respect the choice, though I would recommend turning in homework first and then burning it, but that works. And if that one didn't work, Kanchanese is a great homework GIF as well. I very much understand that feeling. Janut's got our physics GIF, so that's looking good. Physics does set the rules, indeed. Let's see. So the only one I'm missing at this point is birthday, but there it is. Janut's has the "Hey girl, it's your birthday" GIF, and that's looking fantastic. And I think with that, and then we have a broccoli GIF as well. Looking good. All right. You all are covered. So that means that you guys have won round 4. And I have to give it to Kanchanyi for the GIF of the little girl crying while doing her homework for our Emma Miller award. That one is fantastic. Truly an iconic GIF. It's very identifiable. I totally understand. Neocant, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Welcome in. Thanks for becoming a shifter. All right, we are on to our final round. This final round is the longest of the rounds, and longest in terms of longest list, but I think you guys got it. You've technically already won. So worst case, you don't get all the the words here. You've already won the game. But this is your opportunity to really differentiate yourself. If you haven't won an Emma Miller Award yet, this is your chance to win it and get that extra XP. So let's begin. Round 5. Your words are grandparent, player, piano, tongue, volcano, proposal, atmosphere, painting, and spaceship. This is for all the beans. This is your opportunity to take home an Emma Miller Award. I'm liking these GIFs. I'm liking them. I think you all are doing a good job. Will you get all of the words? You're about halfway through your time now. Have you remembered everything? I guess we'll find out, won't we? Have you remembered every word? You have about 10 seconds left. And that is the end. So anything after Shiny Force's GIF is going to be the last one that we see. So let's go back to the beginning of the list and let's see who managed, or if we managed to get all of the words. Let's find out. So first, we kick it off with our dad, with the grandparent. You love to see it. Fantastic. Well done. Then we have Tesla with the piano. We love a good piano moment. We've got some of our grandparent gifts. Those are fantastic gifts, truly. I do like those quite a lot. Those are very funny. I like them a lot. All right. Let's keep going. Let's keep scrolling down. We got some more pianos. I like how it's usually animals with pianos. Chris has us covered for a spaceship. Perfect. I believe that Maximo's GIF is for atmosphere. So that one, we might take that one. I'm not sure if we have another one in there. I think that's what that one is representing. I think. CHRND has another piano GIF. Maximo, I like the second one for the proposal. That one works for proposal. I'm flattered. John covered us for player. That was the one I wasn't sure that we were going to get. So player, I think, is in there. So that's looking really good. All right, Shiny has us covered for what I imagine is the atmosphere as well, so that one's good. It's kind of a hard thing to show in a GIF, I agree. The GIF from Tesla for Volcano will count, but yikes, that looks painful. Maximo, I also like yours. Continue, I like that as well. All right, Broccoli covered us for player also. We have more grandparents. What a playa, love that. Medallion, that was the other one I wasn't sure we were going to get, was painting. So well done, coming in clutch with that painting moment. And a very topical one. It, has a moon on there. It feels very representative. That's good. It's a good one. All right, we got some more spaceships. I think you all are, actually there's still one missing, but I do know that we got one right at the end, I think. And that was the crazy tongue photo from, I actually think it was the last GIF that got sent, was Shiny Force's tongue photo. Shiny Force, wow. Literally down to the wire, saved the day with a tongue photo. Literally saved the day. That's impressive. Very impressive. I actually think I'm going to give 2 Emma Miller awards for this last round. One of them is going to go to Shiny Force for having been the one who came in clutch right at the end there. And also that GIF haunts my nightmares. And will continue to haunt my nightmares for a very long time to come, I'm sure. So thank you for sharing that. I wish that GIF didn't exist, but here we are. And then let's see. I had another one that I wanted to call out, and that was from Neocant. Your grandparent GIF of the gentleman with the 2 walkers who then breaks down and dance. That one made me giggle out loud. So that one has to be my other Emma Miller award. So congratulations. You all did a fantastic job, and Shiny Force came in clutch right at the end. And that means that you all have won. So congratulations, Neocant and Shiny Force, for getting your final Emma Miller award. In total, we can just call it everyone. Round 1 was Broccoli. Round 2 was Medallion. Round 3 was Maximo. Round 4 was Conchagny. And round 5 was Neo and Shiny Force. Congratulations, you all did a fantastic job. And of course, if you didn't win an Emma Miller award, that's okay, because you all still won. And that's amazing. And you all worked together and hardly had any duplicates. That's really impressive. So with that wraps up our game for the week. And actually that wraps up the Redshift, which is fantastic. So thank you all for joining. If you were new, thank you for joining. I look forward to seeing you all next week. I do want to call out really quickly, just so that you all know what to expect. The ISA, my contacts at the communications center for the ISA have let me know that it is a little bit, everyone's kind of in a little bit of an overtime state at the moment, with, the rover incident, and now with C. diff putting everyone a little bit behind. In order to make sure that everything is good to go for mission 4, all the astronauts are in high focus on making sure that everything is good to go. So it is possible that next week is going to be a little bit different. We might not have a letter from an astronaut, but we might have someone from the ISA send in a note. So we will see. But I just want to let you all know that it might look a little bit different or sound a little bit different next week. But we'll still have lots of fun times. I really like your guys' final gifts. Shiny, did you make that GIF? Did you make an Emma face reveal GIF? That's impressive. Does that just exist? I like these a lot. Anyways, thank you all so much for spending this time with me. I hope you all have had a great time. Thank you again, and I will see you all later. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. Bye.